That captivated the nation and the world. A British backpacker goes missing after driving along a remote stretch of the Stuart Highway in 2001.
Some stories haunt us because they don't end. Questions remain unanswered. Whispers echo and truths hide in shadow. Missing person cases carry an eerie weight, not just because of the unknown, but because they reflect our darkest fears. That someone can vanish without a trace, leaving only a void where answers should be. It was April 30th, 1991, in County Cork, Ireland. A quiet day marked by a solemn occasion. Connor and Sheila Dwyer, a couple in their 60s, attended a funeral at St. Patrick's Church near their home. Neighbors noticed nothing unusual as the Dwyers exchanged polite greetings and quietly took their seats. After the service, the couple was seen walking home along Chapel Hill. That would be the last confirmed sighting of them. Weeks passed without a word from the Dwyers. Their grown sons, living in England, had heard nothing, and family members grew increasingly worried. On May 22nd, Sheila's sister reported them missing to the Garda. When officers entered their impeccably tidy home, they found no signs of a struggle. Passports, cash, and personal items remained untouched. The only thing missing was the couple's white Toyota Cressida. The investigation turned up more questions than answers. The Garda conducted extensive searches of nearby rivers, including the notorious Blackwater, and followed up on international sightings from France and Germany. One tip described a couple matching the Dwyer's description at a French airport, with the man appearing controlling and the woman possibly trying to hide her identity. While compelling, the lead went nowhere. Rumors swirled in the local community. Some speculated the Dwyers had chosen to disappear voluntarily. Others suggested foul play, possibly linked to Connor's work with a wealthy German businessman. Theories even connected their case to that of William Billy Fennessy, whose car and remains were found submerged in the River Blackwater years later. Yet decades on, the Dwyers' disappearance remains a haunting enigma. Were they victims of an accident, or did something far more sinister occur? Their fate is a chilling reminder of how quickly the ordinary can become extraordinary and terrifyingly unexplainable. The Dwyers' eerie disappearance in Ireland leaves us unsettled. But across the globe, another haunting case has its roots in the Australian outback. A tale of adventure turned nightmare.
That captivated the nation and the world. A British backpacker goes missing after driving along a remote stretch of the Stuart Highway in 2001.
It was July 14, 2001, when Peter Falconio and Joanne Lees, a British couple exploring the vast expanse of the Stuart Highway, encountered something that would change their lives forever. Their road trip had been a dream until that fateful night. A white SUV pulled alongside their van, and its driver, a mustachioed man in his 40s, signaled Peter to stop, claiming sparks were flying from the van's exhaust. Concerned, Peter pulled over. Joanne was asked to rev the engine while Peter and the man checked the vehicle. Moments later, a gunshot rang out. Joanne turned to see the man at her window, pointing a revolver. What followed was a harrowing fight for survival. The man handcuffed Joanne, attempted to restrain her further, and dragged her to his vehicle. But Joanne's determination saved her. She slipped through a gap in the canopy, fled into the desert, and hid beneath bushes as the man, flashlight and dog in hand, searched for her. He passed terrifyingly close multiple times before giving up and driving away. Hours later, Joanne flagged down a truck driver, who rushed her to safety. The police arrived but found few leads, a bloodstain at the scene and the couple's van hidden nearby. Peter's body was never found. Years later, DNA evidence tied Bradley John Murdoch, a known criminal, to the case. Convicted of Peter's murder, Murdoch maintains his innocence, refusing to reveal Peter's fate. The Falconio case remains one of Australia's most chilling mysteries, leaving questions of what truly transpired in the vast, dark outback that night. The Falconio case showcased the unimaginable horrors of the unknown.
No, nothing that happened. She was not with us.
But the chilling story of Susan Powell proves that sometimes the danger lies closer to home. Susan's 2008 recording, where she documented her household assets, now serves as a haunting prelude to her disappearance just a year later. In the video, Susan calmly cataloged her belongings, just in case something happens. It seemed eerily prophetic. Her marriage to Josh Powell had been strained for years, riddled with financial woes and allegations of Josh's volatile behavior. On December 6, 2009, Susan attended church with her two young sons, returning home that afternoon. By the next morning, she was gone. Josh claimed he took their boys camping in a blizzard at midnight. Leaving Susan asleep at home, police found no signs of foul play in the house. But Susan's safe deposit box told a darker story. Inside was a will warning that if anything happened to her, it wouldn't be accidental. Disturbingly, Josh had recently taken out a $1 million life insurance policy on her. Josh's behavior after her disappearance only raised more suspicions. He showed little interest in search efforts and quickly moved back to Washington with his sons. 2 years later, during a supervised visit with his children, Josh committed an unthinkable act. He locked the social worker outside and killed himself and his boys by setting his home ablaze. In the aftermath, investigators suspected Josh's brother, Michael, of helping conceal Susan's body. But Michael's suicide in 2013 left the case with more questions than answers. Despite years of searching abandoned mines and desolate areas, Susan's remains have never been found. Susan's final recording, intended as a safeguard, now stands as a chilling testament to her foresight and the darkness she feared. Her story remains one of the most haunting, unresolved mysteries of domestic violence and betrayal. Susan Powell's case left us grappling with the horrors of domestic betrayal. The disappearance of Carl Herbert Landers, however, takes us into the eerie realm of nature's silence, where even the most experienced vanish without a trace. Mount Shasta, a towering peak in California's Cascade Range, is both a natural wonder and a magnet for mysteries. At 14,179 feet, its snowy slopes have inspired folklore and fear alike. For Carl Herbert Landers, a seasoned climber at 69, it was another challenge in his quest to summit California's highest peaks. In May 1999, he returned to Shasta, determined to succeed after being thwarted by altitude sickness the previous year. On May 21st, Carl set off with friends Barry and Milt, braving snowdrifts to reach the 50-50 plateau, where they camped for the night. The next morning, Carl, feeling unwell from medication and dehydration, decided to start ahead toward the higher Helen Lake camp, a short 650-foot trek away. Dressed in a rust-brown coat and ski pants, he vanished from sight as his friends prepared to follow. 30 minutes later, Milt reached Helen Lake, expecting Carl, but there was no sign of him. Fellow climbers hadn't seen anyone matching Carl's description, and a subsequent search turned up nothing. Back at camp, Carl's gear was untouched, confirming he hadn't returned. The search for Carl became one of the largest in Mount Shasta's history, involving helicopters, infrared sensors, and search dogs. Not a single trace, no gear, no tracks, no scent was found. The flat, open terrain above the tree line offered no hiding places, leaving searchers baffled. How could an experienced climber disappear on a well-trodden path in clear weather? To this day, Carl's fate remains an unsolved enigma, a chilling reminder of nature's unpredictability and the mysteries it keeps. Carl Landers' baffling disappearance in the wilderness reminds us how quickly someone can vanish. Yet in urban settings, disappearances like Johnny Gosh's carry their own haunting weight, tied to societal fears and sinister conspiracies. On September 5, 1982, 12-year-old Johnny Gosh left his West Des Moines home before sunrise to deliver newspapers. Accompanied by Gretchen, his miniature dachshund, Johnny was seen chatting with a man in a Ford Fairmont at his paper drop-off point. Witnesses recall the car speeding off and a man on foot disappearing. Minutes later, Johnny's paper wagon was found abandoned, but Johnny was gone. The abduction appeared alarmingly coordinated. Johnny's parents, John and Noreen Gosh, were quickly alerted by neighbors that their papers hadn't arrived. Their search led to the heart-stopping discovery of the abandoned wagon. Police initially dismissed Noreen's concerns, adhering to a policy of waiting 72 hours before declaring Johnny missing, a delay she believed cost precious time. Noreen's relentless pursuit of answers uncovered chilling layers of potential corruption and conspiracy. She pointed fingers at local law enforcement, alleging mishandling and even involvement. Stranger still, she later received reports of Johnny sightings, including a shocking claim from Paul Bonacci, a man who admitted to being part of a child trafficking network. Bonacci described horrifying details of Johnny's kidnapping that eerily matched facts known only to Johnny's family. Years later, Noreen claimed Johnny visited her as an adult, revealing he was still alive but living in hiding to avoid the powerful individuals behind his abduction. Despite these claims, law enforcement remains tight-lipped, citing the open status of Johnny's case. Johnny Gosch's face was one of the first to grace milk cartons, symbolizing the plight of missing children. His story is both a cry for justice and a grim reminder of how little we may know about the shadows lurking in society's corners. Johnny Gosch's case revealed a web of conspiracies and unanswered questions.
Johnny was a great kid, do anything for anybody.
He was a delightful little guy, so happy and just fun to have in the house. And he would be so kind to other people as he started to grow up.
The story of Leah Roberts brings a haunting sense of the unknown into the wilderness. Her journey into self-discovery and solitude ended in one of the most perplexing disappearances in recent history. In March 2000, 23-year-old Leah Roberts set out on an unannounced road trip, inspired by Jack Kerouac's The Dharma Bums. Her siblings, Cara and Heath, grew worried when Leah vanished without notice, leaving behind cryptic notes and a Cheshire Cat sketch. Her journey was traced westward through her bank activity, but it abruptly ended in Bellingham, Washington, where surveillance footage captured her at a gas station. Days later, her Jeep was found wrecked at the bottom of a remote ravine near Mount Baker. The crash site painted a strange picture. Personal items like cash, Leah's guitar, and her late mother's ring were left untouched. Blankets covering the windows suggested someone had lived in the car post-crash, but Leah was gone, as was her cat. Authorities found no blood, no signs of injury, and no evidence Leah had been in the vehicle during the crash. Later investigations uncovered suspicious tampering with the Jeep's starter relay, leading to theories of foul play. A man Leah interacted with shortly before her disappearance became a person of interest, but his DNA didn't match the evidence found in the vehicle. To this day, Leah's fate remains a chilling enigma. Did she seek a new life, or was she taken by force? The truth lies buried, leaving only questions. These stories leave us wondering then, when someone vanishes, is it the wilderness or the secrets of human nature we should